Hello and welcome back. We've returned our Memomancer to action.
Hello.
Everybody's here. So let's carry on. You are you're all at you're all at the Afterglow now,
hmm
and you're in the admittedly much too large for a five-person meeting. It's like space in the front. Maybe there's a table. You've put some chairs around, and I guess six people
I invited
because.
Victoria, by the way.
Oh yeah, so I was gonna say,
Text
how
message.
was the car ride over? Who had shotgun? What was it like?
I probably had shotgun.
Okay.
Yeah, Desmond's girlfriend, Victoria, or sorry, Whitney, had
Yeah, well, yeah, I'm not sure. It kind of depends on Desmond whether or not we had like an awkward car ride with the three people in the back having a conversation, or whether the two of us talked at all.
I feel like that's probably what happened.
Yeah,
Like
that's kind of what I feel like happened too.
Lyric, Iori, and Kaguya are in the back. Who's in the middle? Who got smushed in the middle? It's a Civic. It's
Kaguya, of course. I'm too polite not to take it. Like,
yeah. Okay.
oh yeah, okay, I'll do it. Yes, of course. No, you sit in full size seat. That's fine.
Okay. All right. So you're yeah, you're in the middle and the two of them and like Lyric yeah, Lyric just kind of like gazes out the window the whole time, just kind of like looking at things going by, seeming a little spacey. Desmond puts music on, like just loud enough to be like, "Don't talk, the music's on," right? Like you'd
Yeah.
have to talk a
Uh-huh.
little louder than usual over it. Um, and yeah, so it's an uncomfortable ride, I think. But Kaguya, you text Victoria. What do you say?
I think I'm just like, sorry you couldn't make it to the art show, but we're talking about it at the Afterglow. uh, and our like about it and our findings at the Afterglow. If you would like to attend,
Um, what time is it? It'd be like,
Like 10.
yeah, yeah. I
So
think,
because Desmond was like, it's still early, but it was definitely after a night event. So I figured
yeah,
10.
yeah, that makes sense. I think there's a long wait, um, and then Victoria texts you back, and she's like, "No time tonight. Have someone take notes."
I will also have texted Victoria.
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
Once it's clear that Desmond and I are not talking, I will send her a quick text that's like, "Hey, Archer went well. Some weird stuff happened. Magic stuff. You probably want to know about it."
She replies with define weird stuff.
And I'm like, fading backwards or across through time and space? Question mark? Question mark? Question mark?
She replies with the like sideways, the diagonal sideways mouth emoji.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I'm like, I don't know what happened when they went there,
Yeah, that
but
face.
Lyric and Kaguya definitely went somewhere, and it seemed important. The library's been abandoned now.
Okay, so she replies, who knows about this?
Um, and like, and I'll say that I was down there with the two of them. Eeyore knows because he was taking care of the space, and we're in the car with Desmond on the way to Afterglow. We haven't
Um,
talked about it yet.
she
So
replies
I'm just like, everyone's in the back. We're all just like sitting listening to music, and I'm just like, Desmond's
texting.
being being quietly angry at me, and I'm just like texting in the other seat.
Yeah, yeah, and you say yeah, you like mention like say who it is, and she replies Desmond question mark. Why?
He has a car.
Okay, she
I mean, that's the most obvious reason.
yeah, yeah, totally. She replies. She you get the like dot 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 for like a long time while she tries to figure out what to
Yeah.
say, and then she just goes with, "Tell me about it tomorrow." and she says she like gives you a time, and I think probably like 9:30, coffee shop, like the same place.
Yeah, and I'm like, I'll aim for 9:30.
Okay. All right. So you pull up, and now you're inside. We're in the we cut back to you in the theater. So you're all around the table. Lyric is probably sitting up on like the bar rather than in a chair. They keep fidgeting and like getting down and walking around. Um, where is everybody else? What do we see in this scene? Where's everyone sitting? What's everybody's general like body language like?
I'm sitting in the right spot. Is all I have
The
to
right
say.
spot. The right spot for what?
The right spot or the correct spot?
The correct spot.
Okay. Just
I think in this case, Kaguya is somewhere where they can like see everyone,
Mm-hmm.
address everyone. Because yeah, I'm trying to like gauge people's reactions and like be able to see how people feel about like my art show, and then also that other stuff.
Okay. All right. Yori, what about you? You've been pretty quiet since the leaving the place. Where are you? Are you obviously you're present for the meeting, but
Yeah, I think I'm impatiently pacing to find out more about what happened. I've kind of got the drive at the moment to be doing stuff, so it was an awkward car ride for me as well, and I guess I'm still kind of awkward until we start getting to the details and finding out what happened. So I just like backwards and forwards near the stairs, just like sitting down, looking at my phone, getting up, wondering a bit.
so there's a general sort of nervous energy to the place.
Yeah, I think so.
Linny, what are you doing?
so I will have had to like bring stuff in from our,
Mm-hmm.
so like get things out of the trunk and stuff. So if there was an extra moment with just me and Desmond outside, I would have taken a moment to be like, hey, I'm sorry about earlier. That was awkward. Maybe we could talk later.
Cool.
And
Okay,
then
yeah.
just
So
kinda,
you're
like,
yeah, maybe he's like you're like grabbing the last of the stuff out of the car, and he's just like locking up. And,
yeah,
And you come over to him and you say that.
yeah.
He shakes his head. He's like, I don't know what you mean. Nothing's awkward.
Okay. I'll go inside.
Okay. All right. Yeah, he locks the car and the two of you come in. So once everybody's inside and all the kind of like initial shuffling around is done, I think Desmond says to you, Kaguya, so what's going on? Everybody's all tense. What happened?
Lyric and I spoke to a spirit,
Okay.
a very angry one that had been left there.
Huh. So Desmond doesn't really know the story. Like Desmond doesn't know that that was your mentor's like former lab
Yeah.
or any of that stuff.
So I think I kind of explained that to him. Just I'll say, yeah, like that place was not just some abandoned library. It was Robert's, one of his laboratories was beneath or connected to it at least.
Huh. All right. And there was a spirit down there?
Trapped in a giant construct that was to protect the place, but the place was abandoned, and as was the spirit, but still bound there. Very upset, as you might imagine.
Yeah, and I think he's like, huh. I mean, and he like looks at Lyric and then looks back at you and he's like, I mean, it's typical Aetheroid shit. Binding spirits like that. I don't know. I was taught we didn't do those sorts of things, but okay.
Robert,
Are we talking like ghost or and then Lyric takes over and the two of them have like a short conversation that's kind of like not like none of you really get it. Like it takes them a second to get like what they're talking about in line, but basically, yeah, they have this like short conversation, and then Desmond seems to get the answer he was looking for, and he's like, okay, all right. So spirit.
Yes, and I was able to convince the spirit to share some information with me. And what I learned was that Robert was engaged in some very unscrupulous behavior there, making deals with what I feel might be the wrong kinds of people, while alienating everyone that he was close to.
What kind of wrong kinds of people are we talking about?
Yeah, and I kind of like perk back up into the conversation at this point. I've just been like snacking on leftovers from my bag.
Well, it's hard to say for certain because the spirit's eyes were, it lacked context for a lot of this. People in suits, people making deals, taking more than they should have, and Robert looking very desperate, nearly being killed by Victoria's mentor.
Huh. It didn't have anyone's business card, did it? And I kind of like roll my eyes for a second. Like, so Robert and what's his name had a fight?
Well, very nearly.
Huh.
But it seems like Robert couldn't put up much of a fight at that point. And maybe what was Victoria's mentor's name again? I didn't write it down in my notes.
His name is
Robert Paulson.
Clifford Davies.
Clifford Davies, thank you.
Clifford Davies.
Technically, he's Sir Clifford Davies, but yeah.
Of course he is.
Cliffy
Sir
D.
Clifford Davies, OBE.
I don't know what his title. He's like full-time wizard. He probably doesn't even have like a mundane like job.
Official wizard to Her Royal Majesty.
Yeah, he lives in a castle somewhere in England, or like upstate New York.
Either way.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, so like Kaguya explains all that shit to everyone. And then just kind of shrugs like.
And do you mention about like my mentor and Lyric's mentor also previously having a fight or having a fight with him?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so when you mention Ocean, Lyric says, you saw Ocean?
Mm-hmm.
And there was a fight? And they look kind of nervously at Litany.
There's an argument.
Did Francie tell you about that at all? Because Ocean never mentioned it to me.
No, Francie didn't tell me, but like frankly, there's a lot she didn't tell me. She probably would have told Maureen, I'm sure, but do you know when this was? Like how long ago?
The spirit didn't have a very clear conception of time. These were just impressions, mostly.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like I remember there was a certain point where maybe, like, I don't know, we used to like hear a little bit about like, oh yeah, I met up with so-and-so or whatever, and she just kind of stopped talking about that, but I didn't hear about any problems.
Well,
but she probably wouldn't have told me anyways.
I can only assume that the woman who was taking things, or that he had made a deal with, is this Dr. Shankar.
So you've heard that name before, obviously.
I have. Yep.
Yep. Is that something you like? I mean, obviously you notice when Kaguya says that. Do you have anything to contribute, or do you just keep quiet and let Kaguya talk?
No, I say, Oh, I see. Yeah. My investigation has come up with Dr. Shankar as well. I was uh, trying to track her down, actually, just before the thing with the robot. Um, yeah, it seems like any further information on her is being deliberately guarded somehow. She used to work at a university, and I went there, and it wasn't just that the information on her and her research had been like deleted from the system. It was deliberately being kind of obfuscated. Um, yeah, there's clearly some stuff we're not supposed to know about that, or the public isn't supposed to know. Um, Definitely planning on trying to crack some more of that. This Dr. Shankar seems like a good lead for both. Well, just a good lead in general.
Things have been leading me to her, and so I can only imagine
Mm-hmm.
that she's important.
Sure. And did you get a sense for the person that you said she was with? In the suit?
Another question mark.
Did Francie or Ocean have a fight with her too?
No, she came into the picture late and seemingly took advantage of Robert's desperation. Pushed him to complete his work and then clearly reaped some benefit of it. Well, I wonder what has become of that aspect. She's
Her.
doing far worse than Robert did with his work.
Yeah, I don't like that. That seems bad.
Well, we should find her then.
And did you see Maureen at all?
No.
All right.
And any number of follow-up conversations or other events could have happened somewhere else, and I would not know about them through the spirit. So at best, we have a small window into his life, not a complete picture. I'm not sure how we should proceed from here.
I guess I'll fill Victoria in. I'm sure she'll be interested.
I mean, we can still check up on Dr. Shankar. I think that's still our best bet. And, like, I can still do more there. If any of you feel like helping me.
Dave, you're super quiet. I can't really hear what you're saying. I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. It resets every time I reset. That's perfect. It's really good. I'm really enjoying how broken this is.
We can hear you now, though.
Cool. Yeah. I was just saying that if anybody wants to help me find out more on Professor Dr. Shankar, there's still more to be found out at the university. And if anybody could kind of help me get access to their physical network so I can tap in and try my hand at like deciphering what information they have on her. I mean, either what she was working on or where she is now. You know, we know that she was in contact at least. So that's a good lead.
Yeah.
Still.
And I guess, and I'll turn to Desmond and be like, have you heard of any of these people?
Desmond shakes his head. No. Like, Desmond, I think Desmond moved here, like, relatively recently and doesn't have, like, a long history with you all.
And I'm like, do you remember when you were here for the film, there was this guy, he mostly was sitting on his laptop in the corner. what's his name again? And
Emilio.
yeah, and I'm like, yeah, Emilio somebody. He said he was with some kind of like, I don't know, local blog or something. He seemed really suspicious. Did you notice him or
Desmond shrugs. Maybe. And there were lots of people there I didn't know.
yeah.
Well, Emilio was the fabricated name, right? We established that wasn't their
Yes,
true
Thunderbolt
identity.
was real.
No, I mean he was real. It just
Well, yeah.
not the right kind of real. I don't know how to better explain it.
There are clearly some things going on that. I mean, did your mentors talk to you about the technocracy? Are you aware with them as a thing? Like a conspiracy theory, but sort of with some substance?
Yeah, I think y'all would have been educated like pretty differently on it, especially like Kaguya, you would have gotten almost none, right? Like because you weren't really trained at all. Um, Litany, you would know that there's like a patriarchal techno cult that wants to like suppress everybody's you would get the worst view of the technocracy because
Yeah.
the Verbena are really anti-technocracy.
Yeah.
So you know they exist. They're kind of like a boogeyman. They represent like the thing that all awakened mages should be fighting. But like Yuri, you probably would have gotten a more technical description of it and a more like there was a split sometime in the history. Like we used to our people, the virtual adepts used to belong to the Technocratic Union, but we split from them. Here's how they're structured now. We're at cross purposes because we all use technology, but they use it to repress people and we use it to free them. You know, there was probably a very concerted let's sit down and watch the Matrix like lesson there.
Totally.
You're Neo, they're Agent Smith, all right? Just keep that in mind.
Yeah. Yeah, so I guess I continue without like waiting for a full kind of consensus answer, I want to say. I think the things that are happening at the moment probably, or at least I would hypothesize that they are related in some way to that group. The thing about having a proxy Emilio sent to spy on us, this person that you mentioned that Dr. Shankar was speaking to, I mean, they probably don't all wear dark suits and talk on their phones the whole time, but I mean, the stereotype comes from somewhere, right? Yeah, I see some interference with our mentor's business and our investigation being impeded, probably on purpose.
Is this some kind of Matrix bullshit?
Well, yes. I mean, there's a parallel there. That's certainly how I was taught about it.
Well, seems bad.
Yes. Yes, I mean, that's why if you remember when you had the business card, that is very...
Do they literally do that with like business cards and stuff?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh.
I mean, I can do that as well, right? I can...
Also, I don't get it. I mean, I believe you. I believe you.
That's real.
I just, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's not... I mean, men in suits probably aren't going to come to take us away. Probably in exactly that way. But what we do, they don't like. Right? They want to make sure that everybody is on the same level, that reality exists in a very specific way and one that doesn't change, where people don't get to use magic to, you know, further themselves, help people, that sort of thing.
Well,
our first goal should be to find out what happened. The house being on fire and where all of these people have gone. Once we find them, or what remains of them, or where they went to, the rest will follow.
Sure.
Maybe Dr. Shankar can be convinced to give us some of that information if we find her.
Sounds like a good start to me. And like I say, I've got one avenue now with the university database. If anybody could help me get access there.
Maybe I can help. Find the right person to talk to. It's usually the right way to go.
Sure. Well, we can make that one avenue to explore. We got some stuff from the library as well. And that's, I think, just reinforcing this same lead. I mean, if we had some stuff left from our mentors, we could attempt some more or less mundane ways of tracking them. But
Well, Litany,
really
you remember...
Well,
Sorry, go ahead.
yeah. No, you go ahead.
I was going to say, you remember Victoria saying something about that same thing, like objects tied to your mentors, things like that you might be able to use to track them down in some way.
And I think like I'm kind of like listening, and then I'm like, so like what kind of thing would you need?
I mean, it would be different for me than for you, right? I've seen you. I think you ate someone's hair. Is that something you did?
Did
That
Victoria, who I think Victoria would have seen that. Victoria was the only person who would have seen that. So if she told you
right,
about
sure.
it, then you know about it. But if not, you don't. But
Okay,
yeah,
yeah.
I think I'll be like, well, I just like the way that y'all do things is really like I see that there's like a rhyme and a reason to it, but I just don't really get it. This whole like business card, but I'm sure I must still have a couple things. I like to keep backups, just in case.
Sure. Then, in the same way, I guess conceptually, that mimetic data or ideas and concepts about people or places or things.
And you can see my eyes kind of like glazing over, and I'm like tuning back out.
No. You can probably. I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if you could like tap into someone's life force that they left behind on a thing that they had, right?
Yeah, I guess. I'm sure I've got something. I could look. Do you not have anything from your mentor? Is that not a thing you would do? Mementos, business cards.
Most of our interactions were kind of academic, like lessons. We weren't personally very close. He was in the kind of traditional and academic sense, my teacher more than anything.
Yeah, anytime I hear any of you talk about your people, I feel like I just stepped in from some alternate reality. But sure, like my stuff's at home. I don't have it with me.
Sure, well.
At least I don't think so. And I'll like go and like rifle through my bag, and I'm like, no, that's like the extra backup. You got to keep that someplace safe. This stuff, and I'm like putting like little envelopes just like on the chair beside me. I'm like, this stuff's just day to day, And I'm like going through, and it's like got people's names written in like really neat printing, like on the front of each envelope. And if any of you are like looking closely, you'll notice that there's definitely one with your name on it. And I like go through and look at them all and then pile them all back into my bag.
Sure, that's something that you can totally look at. In fact, Well, I know Lyric, you've had some kind of experience with this stuff, right? As well? About, I guess it doesn't work conceptually the same way, but with tracking people or having a sense of people, what they've left behind in places from things or stuff that they do, right?
Um,
You could help me with that.
I mean, maybe I'm more about picking up the ambient emotional energies of a place, more about people's feelings and groups of people, not individuals. I tend to lose individuals in the crowd. I mean, I could tell you how it felt at a place recently or the history of the feelings that have built up in that place, but I'm not so good at tracking people. I mean, trust me, I've tried. I went looking for Ocean in every way I could think of, but every spirit I asked, they didn't know.
Hmm.
So if I can help, I will. But then they kind of like
Well,
look helplessly at you, Litany.
I've got some questions for you as well, Lyric, about how spirits work, but I don't know if I can make a plan for how that's useful immediately without one of the other leads to go on.
I mean, I'm here to help if you need me.
Sure. Well,
And sorry, I know you talked about it before, but
It's okay.
I was kind of I don't know, whenever y'all talk about your hacking and computer stuff, I just kind of I don't know. But you said you were going to try again with finding this doctor person,
yeah.
but you need help with it? What kind of help?
Um, I need to
A
get
computer or like a I don't
sure. So at the university, I mean, computers like exist in physical space too. I need to just get into the room where they have all of them to find out what information's on them. So it's going to be getting past the security guards,
mm-hmm.
tricking them into thinking that we're supposed to be there. That stuff you guys are a lot better
Mm-hmm.
than I am with. So Kaguya said
Fair.
they'll come with me if you think you could help out
Okay,
in that as well.
great. Yeah, I just wanted to check whether it was like a personal thing or like a money thing or like I don't
Oh,
know.
I don't know. I suppose if worst comes to worst, we can bribe one of the tech staff to let us have a snoop around. Whatever works, really. I just need to get my hands on that server rack, a box thing.
Well, do you need backup cash then?
Yeah, that would be helpful,
How
I
much?
guess. I don't think I've ever bribed someone before.
100? A couple hundred?
So I think Iri turns to Kaguya and says, "You're the best of all of us at getting to places that you need to be, dealing with people in a, I don't want to say manipulatory way, but
And I
Oh,
shrug
that's
like,
quite all right.
okay.
I'm trying to be polite, but you're really good at making people do what you want.
yeah,
Yeah, and I just like remember how I got into the library and kind of like
Yeah.
I can help ease your access to the space, I'm sure.
and if we need to grease the wheels, I guess some money would be helpful if that's what you can provide to this plan of action, Whitney. I don't.
Well, I mean, I can show up depending when you need to go. I'm busy, and I think it's like, I don't know, this was like Friday night or something. I think I had like gotten out of work the last 2 days. And then I was like, I need to go to work tomorrow. But but I could show up and give you cash before I do.
All right,
If
then
that
we'll
would help.
try. Yeah, we'll try and get in tomorrow then. Kaguya, if that works for you.
Of course.
All right. Yeah, that'd be really helpful. Good. I feel like we've got an actual plan now for once, almost.
Okay.
The next day.
Yeah, totally. So what's everybody's part in the plan, and what do they do to achieve those things?
All right, so I have to smooth talk and or distract humans that are preventing Yori from getting into the server room.
Yes, that sounds like the first stage.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm gonna seduce and destroy.
Okay. And then once in there, your plan is to use both magic and mundanity to gain access to the systems, the inherent systems of the university, and try to use those to get a grip on Dr. Shankar. Right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And then Litany, you are providing backup in the form of some cash money in case they need it to. Okay.
Well, because I have work tomorrow, but I also have a morning meeting with Victoria over in
right.
Berkeley.
Yep.
So that's a whole day gone right there.
So what's the first thing you're gonna do? Because I feel like the meeting might be the next time we see any of you doing anything.
Yeah, I mean, I think other than I'll just like, I'm trying to think if it would be more on my way to like stop by and just like leave an envelope of cash at the theater on my way in the morning. I probably don't wake up in time to like do that effectively. So I'm gonna have to like
Okay.
rush.
And where do you get this envelope of cash from?
My house.
Yeah.
I mean, I have bank accounts and stuff, but I also have a fairly large amount of cash. That's
Yeah.
not a bank
No,
account.
for sure. Well, what do you have in resources?
3.
Oh, damn. Okay. Yeah. You're well
Yeah,
off.
Hillary and I are both very financially stable. In this
Yeah, but
One
yours
of you
is,
has like a nice
evident,
apartment
mine
and
is
stuff.
Not evident.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't have a nice apartment.
Kaguya's invested, whereas Litany has liquid assets.
Yeah. Well, because with 3, it's like you can live at like a 1 or 2 level of living just indefinitely.
Yeah.
So most of mine is like, yeah. Kaguya is like, oh yeah, you've got a nice apartment, you've got nice things. And mine is like, what do you mean you can just lend me $500?
Mm-hmm.
What? Where did... Okay. So
All right.
yeah. I literally just have I have at least $1,000 cash at home at all times.
Okay. Well, why don't we get you to make a roll? Not necessarily to see how much money you have. Let me bring the two of you back here. Okay. But to just see how effective, like how helpful an amount of bribe money you can pull together.
Mm-hmm.
So what we'll do is I'll get you to just roll like just your resources.
Mm-hmm.
You might need to do that with the die roller in the top corner.
I think I do.
Because I don't think you can just roll resources unknown. And then the each success you get will count as a minus on a manipulation roll if they choose to use the bribe. So we'll just
And so 3 dice.
yeah. Nice. Okay. All right. So -1 difficulty when if it comes to having to use the bribe. Otherwise, they'll just return it to you.
That's the plan.
Okay, cool. So then, do we see you at the coffee shop next?
Yeah, I
Okay.
show up probably 9:45 at the earliest.
Okay. All right. So I think you see you see Victoria getting ready to leave as you arrive. So you're just late enough that she's kind of like, okay, I've waited long enough. And so she's standing up.
I aim for 9:30.
Yeah, those words mean different things to the both of you. And she's putting the like her laptop into her one of her bigger purses, and she's like picking her sunglasses up off the table, and she turns and then she sees you and makes this she makes this like face like somewhere between like, oh good, you're here so we can actually do this, and also like, I wish you'd just not shown up so I could go on and do the thing. Like, she realizes she doesn't have much time to talk to you now.
Yeah.
So she puts her bag back down, takes her sunglasses off, and puts them back on the table, and she sits down.
Yeah. I'll like put my bag down and go up to the counter to order.
Yeah, she watches, making another like scowl as you don't come directly to her. You like go around to go and get a.
It would be rude to show up and not order something.
I mean, yes, to her, probably not, but to the people that work here, yeah.
Yeah.
So okay.
I order tea. It's the cheapest thing on the menu, and I tip like the same amount as the tea was.
Okay, it's the same person as was here before. And so he like recognizes you and like smiles at you and appreciates obviously your generosity.
Yeah.
And then you finally, by her standards, make your way over to Victoria's table. There's an empty coffee, like an empty paper coffee cup there. There's some like soft jazz playing in the background.
Of course there is.
She looks up at you very expectantly and with not a little like annoyance. She's like, well, if you're ready, and like gestures to a seat next to her.
And I like look at her and I like pull my phone and look at the time and I'm like, it's not even 10.
I have neither the time nor the patience to lecture you about this today. I'm sure that whatever it is you had to do this morning was very important and kept you busy, but
It's called sleeping.
and she shakes her head. She's like, if you people didn't stay up all night, you could get a decent amount of rest and you could be up with the rest of humanity.
It's also called a night job.
She rolls her eyes. Whatever. It doesn't matter. Your personal life is your own. It's just when it impacts me, I don't want to talk about this right now.
I'm sorry. You must have a real busy Saturday ahead of you.
I do.
My apologies.
Actually,
Eating into your time.
Every day is very busy for me, which is why I'd like to get on with this. You have information for me.
Yeah.
What is it?
And I relay the like, there was an art show and
do you, I mean, I think like we all know, but do you, like, we know what's going on, so I won't make you go through it again, but like basically, do you make anything up? Do you leave anything out? Do you like specifically like try to get a certain reaction out of her? Like you have the power here, so.
Yeah, no, I mostly just tell her the things I think she'll be interested in. So I tell her like they contacted a spirit, your mentor fought with this other mentor. We're finding out more information.
Do you tell her about the Dr. Shankar lead and that you're following it?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
Like, do you know anything about this person?
I think, yeah. So I think she like, yeah, there's a long sigh and it's punctuated by like the like clicking of her perfectly manicured nails on the table. And she just like sighs and she's like, this isn't good. I mean, you know it isn't. You're not stupid. My mentor was always suspicious of Dr. Taylor. I didn't want to tell you about this because I wasn't sure how you react, and honestly, I'm still not sure. But I need to trust that you're going to be loyal when it comes down to it. I don't think that you can trust Kaguya. I think you're all walking into a trap. And if Taylor... She like looks around as if someone would be like listening in, and she kind of like leans in and she's like, if what Sir Davies thought was true about Taylor and that he is working with the Union, it's highly possible that Kaguya could be an apparatus of that organization as well. And that if you come face to face with this Dr. Shankar, all it will take is a snap of her fingers and suddenly Kaguya is turned on you. They have ways of programming people, and Kaguya is barely a person to begin with. What is Litany? How do you react when she says that?
I just nod.
Yeah, and she says, and besides that, your only other ally in this is a virtual adept, for Christ's sakes. They're practically still a part of the technocracy. This is why I wanted you and I to be able to talk about these things, Litany, because we respect the old ways, the proper ways of doing these things. The Aetherites, the Adepts, they're a step away from the enemy. They can't be trusted. And I know that Iori and Kaguya are your friends, and that it can be hard to think about things this way, but I just want you to be careful, because if they did something to our mentors, it's almost certainly Taylor's fault.
Well, from what I know, from what Kaguya saw, or at least what they told us, Francie, one of my mentors, broke ties with Dr. Taylor long before Davies did. And so I know that she didn't approve. And I think Ocean, Lyric's person, I don't think they were down with it either. It sounds, I don't know, it sounds very like weird conspiracy, but I guess that's what's up.
So she reaches into her bag and she pulls out a sheaf of maybe like 20 or 30 opened letters. All the same envelopes, like slightly artisanal, but not like flowery, like linen stock kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And they're bound with an elastic band. And actually it's like a kid's like elastic, like it's got like a cartoon animal pattern on it or something.
Yeah.
And she hands them to you. And she's like, I picked these up when I was in Edinburgh. They're letters from Sir Davies to the council. Some of them are about Kaguya. I think you need to read them.
And I like pick up the bundle, and does it have the envelopes or just the letters?
Yeah, it has the envelopes.
And I like start flipping through the envelopes. And are they the kind that like have a seal that you peel off, or one that you lick?
They're like old school envelopes, so yeah, it's a
and like
water activated.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, so he definitely sent these. He would have sent them himself.
She grins and nods, and she's like, yes, and I know what you're thinking, and I'm not sure why you're thinking it. I know how you witches work. You can just,
like,
if you want
I feel
more,
like you don't, but that's fine.
If you want more information, ask me. I'll tell you everything that I know. If you want to start casting hexes on these things, you're welcome to, but I don't know that it's going to get you anywhere.
It's just useful to know what you have, you know?
Of course. And look, I'm entrusting these to you because I think that they'll help you understand what's really going on.
Okay. Well, Kaguya and Iori are heading off to do some reconnaissance today. I'm not going with them. I have this meeting with you and have work later. I didn't tell them we were meeting, but I said I'd fill you in. And I'm gonna send some just in case money with them, but yeah. Do you think I should warn Lyric?
Warn Lyric about what?
And I look at her like, did you not just have a whole conversation with me telling me to like be careful about shit? Like, come on.
She laughs and kind of leans back in her chair and she's like, to be perfectly honest, of all of us, Lyric likely has the least to be afraid of. I mean, if things go wrong, they can just vanish into some drug-addled dreamland, whereas we're all stuck here, more or less.
I shrug. I'm like, I don't know much about how the rest of you work. It's honestly, I don't even know much about how I work. So,
She
um,
laughs and she's like, well, listen, I met some friends when I was in Europe, and once we get through all of this, we're sure we're safe. Maybe I can introduce you to some of them. I know they know some of your people there.
well, we'll see. I should go.
Okay.
Thanks for these. And I like hold up the bundle of letters.
So she, before you go, I think she gives you one last look, like a very like stern, kind of serious look. She's like, if something goes wrong, they're going to come looking for you. I need you to let me know if anything suspicious starts to happen. You notice vehicles following you, uh, people. I be a little paranoid, please, just for my sake, because if they trace this back to you, it'll come back to me, and I have my family to worry about. And if we need to leave quickly, as much warning as I can get. And I think for like just a second, you see like the humanness behind Victoria. Like she's asked, literally just like asking you for even the smallest amount of help.
Yeah. And I'm like, I'll like let my guard down for like a little bit too. And I'll be like, look, we don't always get along, but I'm not going to put your kids in danger.
She nods. I just want to be sure you're aware of the danger. Because sometimes if you go looking for things, it lets them know you're doing it, and they'll come looking for you.
I'll do my best. That's all I can do. I'm sorry.
I believe you. And just keep me up to date, all right? Let me know what's going on.
Yeah, I'm like, we'll do. And I like stuff all the letters into my messenger bag.
Okay. Okay, so you have Sir Davy's letters. Okay. To the order. Cool. All right, Whitney. So while you're doing that, Iori or Kiguya, are you doing anything to prepare for the next bit?
I put on some nice clothes. That makes
Nice
me
in what fashion?
fancy. Like some formal, like suit type clothing.
Okay. All right, Iori, what about you? Do you have anything that you're gonna do?
Um, so we've already got a plan, or at least we've put stuff in place so that I can actually get into the room. I guess I'll just. I will specifically format a drive that I am planning to use to extract the information so that I guess it's maybe like a little bit magically receptive so that I can pull data and I can also kind of pull the metadata more easily, hopefully.
Yeah, you're creating a magical receptacle for information that happens to
Yeah.
also be a hard drive, like a hot swapping like hard drive that you can just plug in. I like that. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's have you
Sure.
let's have you make a roll of some kind to do that. How about you roll a? I'm trying to think if this is mundane helping future magic or vice versa.
Um,
Are you doing the magic now in
I'll do
preparation?
the magic. Yeah, I'll do the magic now while I'm in my sanctum.
Perfect.
It's safe.
That's true. Okay. All right. So let's call this correspondence 2 effect.
Sure.
You're building the formatting architecture for future quick data retrieval.
Yep.
You're making a temporary super hard drive.
Mm.
So let's roll Arte, and the difficulty is going to be 5 for you.
Okay. No dice mod. Difficulty 5. How am I doing for quintessence? None. I have no quintessence unless it's recharged at some point.
No, it doesn't just normally recharge.
Okay, let's see what we get.
Magical flash drive. Awesome.
Got him.
Cool. Okay. So it's like the TARDIS of flash drives.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool. Okay, but it won't last forever. So you'll have to spend I think you'll probably have to just spend all your successes, or spend 2 of your successes or something to make it. You'll only be able to use it for one scene because it's not a wonder. It's not like an actual magical artifact. You're just temporarily defragging it, and the defragging will like come apart. So yeah, if you spend two of your successes on duration, I'll allow you to use it once, like during that scene.
Sounds good.
That means that uploading all the data that you get will take a normal mundane amount of time, but pulling it down will be fast. And then it'll give you a -1 difficulty when you do that. Cool. So suck down that data. Cool. Okay. So you spend the morning or like late night? I don't know. What is it? When are you doing this?
I mean, we were going to move after Lenny dropped off the money, so I guess I do it at night in preparation for the day before.
Okay.
So, like, when the university is like middle of the day, like less busy, when people are in classes and stuff, I guess they'll be the most lax.
Yeah, it's Saturday now, so it'll be Sunday tomorrow.
Yeah, then.
Oh, I thought it was Saturday, the day that we were dealing with this, because that was the day I promised to be at work.
Yeah, it's whatever. I think you have a more solid awareness of time, so it's Friday. Yeah, Friday was the show, and then
Friday
Sunday
was the show, and Saturday is the.
Okay, yeah.
Because I'm the only one with like external
Yeah.
obligations and promises.
Perfect.
In that way.
Okay. All right. So, yeah. So I think you end up working, and you can hear for the first little while that you're working and getting the equipment set up. You can hear Desmond and Lyric talking downstairs for a little while, but then Desmond leaves, and you hear some like vague like shuffling around. And then the place is quiet the rest of the night. And all you can hear is the sound of the keyboard clacking and the hard drive making its little groaning noises as you get it set up.
Yeah. Perfect.
Cool. Okay. Well, let's take our second break here, and we'll come back and see if you can sneak into the university's IT infrastructure.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Cool. Stick around. We got more Mage coming up right after the break.